Hi, my name's Steve Kelly. I'm one of the founders of Arganteal. That's the company. And what we're about is automating DevOps automation. That's supposed to be a little confusing. Next. Next. First of all, what is DevOps? It's the process of getting application changes implemented in production. An example would be when the banks had to roll out the pandemic stuff in a hurry across the country. They had the app, but they needed to get it to apply everywhere. Two builds, please. And so this is common to almost every industry segment. Next slide. This is what how Gartner categorizes the space. In DevOps, you have the dev stuff on the left, which is building applications and is fairly well organized today due to agile processing. However, on the right, you have the ops side, and it's pretty disorganized and traditional. Gartner says there's 5 to 8 tools, and they don't work together to do that job. Bill? We're working with the Air Force, and they say the following: integrated in fielding software on the ops side of DevOps is very complex. We estimate that 2/3 of our software spending is in this area, so it's bigger than dev. And rapid deploy, use, and delete software is critical to many of their missions. So you need to be able to build it quickly, use it, and get rid of it. And yeah, these are in the industry, $200 an hour resources. Next. So what do? We provide a framework to glue all the other existing DevOps tools together, i.e. automating automation. So that's Ansible, Terraform, Python, Puppet, lots of others. And we do variable substitution at the end so that you can reorder a script to a target at the end of the process. We're not another scripting language. You start by uploading the scripts you already have, and we make them reusable. So you don't need to learn new languages or start over. It works on any layer of the stack, from bare metal all the way through infrastructure, through application and application configuration. And it works on any cloud platform, both public and private. Our long-term vision and our roadmap will actually begin to fully automate deployment scripting. Next. So a couple of early examples. An 8-hour task for HP, we did in 40 minutes. For a Microsoft partner, we did a 38-hour task in 3 hours. And for Dimension Data, we took a 200-hour task that they had done several times and probably spent more than 2 hours, and did it in an 8-hour unattended overnight run. That's the kind of power you can get when you use this technology. Next. So how do we do it? We have a patented compiler that you feed with the libraries. The libraries can come from anywhere and generally come from the stuff you already have. Click. So once those are together, you provide a high-level workflow and the data for the specific target you're working with, and you will get an automated orchestrated deployment execution script out of the compiler. You don't have to write it. So custom or classified libraries can inform a patented compiler, and the libraries start with the scripts you already have so that you are, automating DevOps orchestration, not just storing, retrieving, and rewriting scripts. Next. Here's a quick look at a block diagram of the tool. I will not take you through it, but it consists of basically 3 parts. The script capture tool for making scripts that you get reusable, a workflow tool for assembling stuff for a new target, and a compiler which brings all the data and pieces together at the end. Next. Here's a picture of the tool. It's pretty techy, but it's easy to use if you're in the scripting business. Next. So what does Gartner say about this approach? They say it is something new. It's well positioned to work with all of the incumbents, and starting with the scripts you already have is going to resonate because everybody else is one way or another talking about starting over. It also provides a good means of organizing large DevOps teams. Next. Our current traction is with the Air Force. We've automated Active Directory deployment as an example. We're working with a couple of their contractors. We are an elite partner with Worldwide Technologies, and a company called Polyverse has chosen us as their deployment partner. We're pre-product, we want to introduce the product actually this quarter, but we'll do about 2.5 million in revenue this year. And we actually are profitable and cash flow positive. Next. We're going to introduce the product in Q4. We're seeking more funding from lots of government sources, and we would mainly like to recruit a lead investor to do a Series A round in 2022. That's it. With that, I'll take your questions.
Thank you for that, Steve. Whoever wants to hit things off, feel free to give it a start.
That's the first question. I'm sorry, I lost my voice. That's why Ashwin are taking over. Steve, can you just explain to us a little bit more about the DevOps world and explain how you're unique in that space? Because I think it's a world that gets lost on a lot of us.
Yeah, so first of all, we're not about making applications. The application's been built. That's the dev side. The ops side is where do you put it and how do you put it on things all over the world? That is the coin of the realm. There is scripting. There are millions of hours spent every year scripting things. It's both deploying initially and maintaining over time and upgrading and patching and doing security pieces. It's a continuous activity. What we're trying to do is reduce that millions of hours by as much as 80% by automating the way things are done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Han, any other questions?
It couldn't have been that clear.
Actually, I want to help Steve. He and I talked about this briefly. So I know that AWS and like WWT is one of your top customers, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that to them? I think it means a lot to them. Thanks.
Well, Worldwide Technologies is one of our customers, and they, I think, do 12 billion a year in this kind of work. And we're both supplying with some talent and then getting them in position to adopt our technology because it can completely change the way they operate.